Today's Wednesday, September 27, 2017. It is the last show of the month, which means we're giving away $100 to one of you listeners out there, along with some great other swag that have been donated by the companies listed in the show notes. So to find out if you're a winner, which you all are, listen to the end of the program.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you, everybody. Good to be here this Wednesday morning where I had a hard time sleeping last night. Woke up at 1 o'clock and I just could not go back to bed. I don't know if it was cold or irritated or whatever, but came in, plenty of time to do the show, prepare the show notes and whatnot. So it's kind of nice to do that once in a while, but it will make for a long day. Just a couple of soapbox topics to talk about today. I just wanted to share with you an experience that I had this week. In where I thought, you know, there are days that I do this show and I don't really realize people are listening, and which is kind of funny. But the reality is I'm not doing this to listen to my own voice. I don't listen to my show. So when people say, hey, you said this on the show, I'm like, I did. It's just kind of a shock, you know, on occasion. But I do love the support, and I appreciate those that do tune in because there's quite a few of you out there, which is very impressive. But the ultimate goal of the program was never to become a celebrity or whatever. It was really mainly to bring us all together as an industry and share common knowledge and in making it safer as well. So that was the goal, you know, in light of most of the articles that I cover on the show, which are related to accidents, and however the media covers them is typically pretty poor. But based on the experience that I had this week, there are weeks sometimes that I do feel alone, and not that that's a big deal. And when I say alone, I say I feel as if there are fewer people out there than I care to. Let me back up, because I'm not going to say this right, and I've attempted to explain this probably 4 times starting the show, and I've had to go back and re-record it. Let me explain this as best that I can, and if clarification's needed, just send me an email, tom.seibert@cjanderson.com. There are days that I feel like I'm alone in doing this, or that there are very few people out there promoting safety, when in all reality that might not be the case. But I was reminded after talking with a good friend that the work and the messages that we are promoting towards safety, and whether it's people who ride at general riding public or those that work on it, is that there are more people who are focused on safety and believe that it's important that might be quiet. Does that make sense? I was reminded of this, that I did not feel as if I was going crazy or that I was alone, and it was truly nice to know and take pride in what we are trying to accomplish with safety. No matter who says what, no matter comments from the peanut gallery, no matter who the naysayers are that believe they should be done in a better way or whatever, the reality is those naysayers, those people who are spend more time trying to thwart the safety movement or safety message, go F yourselves. And I mean that in the nicest way, because let's just focus on safety, get towards a commonality that will make sure and take steps to ensure that workers are safe, general riding are safe, et cetera, et cetera. And there are some accidents on the program today that are going to make you scratch your head. and definitely worthy of talking about. So make sure safety is an important part of your day, every day. And I know that really wasn't clear in terms of how I was trying to explain it, but the bottom line is that there are days that I feel as if I'm alone in what I'm trying to accomplish in making the industry better. I was reminded this week through some good friends that I'm not alone. There are others who feel the same way I do, and I know they felt that way. But as time progresses, sometimes you just feel like you're doing this all yourself, and I know that's not the case in my particular instance. In terms of, I've got some close allies, some close industry friends and members who are focused on this as well, and I'm not taking anything away from what they have accomplished. And I've got some links in there in the show notes as well. So I'm not trying to say that. I know I'm not the only one promoting safety, but at the end of the day, there are days that I feel like the efforts that are being made in focusing on safety are we're alone, and I know that's not the case. So rising up, being bigger and better than that, trying to make the industry a better one through safety, through however is basically my goal. So without further ado, I just want to throw that out there. That's good. And I do got some other soapbox stuff to talk about in the show notes, which I'll get into next. So yeah, I know I did not explain that very clearly, so I'm sorry about that. My bottom line is I'm not alone in what I'm trying to do here. I feel much better, and I never really felt completely alone. But when you don't get a chance to talk to those that have the same vision as you or the same ideas, it can make you feel kind of alone sometimes. So anyway, so do your part. Come out of the shadows. Make recommendations. Take steps for safety, and let's try to prevent the accidents that are occurring out in the world from happening, because there's some doozies out there, and we'll get into those in the show notes. So, okay, we'll get into the show notes and the articles of the week next, and have you out here in no time. Up next is the news.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, for those of you that attended the NAC Atlantic City show, I'm sure you're all on your way back. Hopefully that you found that beneficial to yourself. I want to do a quick shout out and thank you to Glenn Duncan from the Elevator Riders Riding Club for arranging to do the 50-50 raffle, which is great. It sounds as if they raised about $1,000. Also, NAC unveiled some characters that like full life-size characters from the Safety Riders program, which was a surprise. And you can see the photograph of the gentleman who won that and actually donated $300 back to the foundation, which is awesome. So thank you so much for doing that. Glenn has got his hand in so many activities in the industry, and he's one of those guys that is doing his part to make it better. So anyway, that's that on that. And next news article is the first one of the show, and I titled it, "Is Licensing Excessive?" And it's, if you read this article, it's enough to drive you freaking crazy. It's coming from the Columbus Telegram in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it's basically an article talking about legislators trying to eliminate the need for licensing. And what drives me absolutely beep crazy is the statement that's made here right below. It says, we ought to encourage people to be entrepreneurs, and sometimes licensing holds them back, Epke said. And Epke is Senator Laura Epke of Crete who said that. And you know what? I would not disagree with the amount of legislation that can definitely tie up a business. But as a business owner, licensing is not an issue. Licensing my business is not an issue. And what is being proposed here is eliminating the requirements for licensing. So basically you have the same guy installing a roof that is putting, that possibly could be maintaining your elevator. That's not good for anybody. That's not good for safety. That's not good for the working public. It's not good for anybody. So, Laura Epke, if you're listening to this podcast, if you think that licensing is holding back an entrepreneur or a company, You are so far away, removed from reality. It's ridiculous. Feel free to send me an email or call me because I cannot believe you want me to tell you what the biggest costs are I have? Insurance and health insurance. Both of those. Can you do something about that? Product liability. Product liability insurance is huge. It's insane. If you've ever been involved in a product liability lawsuit, it's freaking ridiculous. The attorneys get rich. The insurance companies have no backbone. And then the person who's suing literally gets a third of whatever they collect. And it might take 5-10 years to get it. That's a huge, those are costs that I can't contain, that I can't deal with. And I realize that you're talking about licensing mechanics or whatever. That's a little bit bigger cost than a business itself. But this statement is so off base. It's freaking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Unbelievable, unfreaking believable. So anyway, my soapbox talk on this is that there's no way that removing licensing from like an elevator technician to have a license to do work is going to be beneficial for an industry or be beneficial safety wise. So I truly wish that this article wasn't even written, to be honest with you. But man, it just drives me absolutely freaking nuts. I mean, this might be part of the issue that New York is having with licensing. We want to be safe here, and mechanics who go through the program are taught safety, and this step of removing licensing is just absolutely ridiculous. So that's my soapbox. Feel free to share that. And Laura Ebke or whatever, call me up. Be happy to comment on this and share my or the Telegram or whatever. Happy to share more on this. But yeah, I don't really think excessive licensing is a problem. I think excessive taxes are a problem. Here in Cook County, Illinois, they just put into effect a sugar tax on any beverage, which is expensive, obviously. And the reason for doing that was so that they could fill a hole in their budget, not for necessarily safety reasons or health reasons. The money collected is not going back into treating diabetes or safety or whatever, in that sense. And that's I have a problem with that. But licensing, no, that is it's a little concerning. Next news article, Daily News New York has an article, and at first I was freaking out when I read this. Water begins flooding World Trade Center elevator. People trapped between 69th and 70th floors. Look at the video. It's not flooding. There's water trickling through the top of the car. But regardless, regardless, water, when it touches, any water with an elevator is not going to be good. Especially, excuse me, I'm so sorry, with the World Trade Center is not good at all. But yeah, I mean, talk about a sensationalized title here. I honestly thought people were drowning. And then I saw the 69th and 70th floor, so I'm like, oh, there's no way they're doing that. So I guess flooding is whatever you describe it as. But I think of flooding as like hurricane flooding, because that's what we've been dealing with in the last month with Irma and the other one, I forgot the name of it. But anyway, yeah, crazy. Okay, the Wisconsin Elevator Symposium is next week. Oh, no, sorry, it's this week. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow and Friday. Excuse me. I'm going to that. I cannot wait. Looking forward to it. I haven't been to, I don't think I've ever been to this. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll have a booth. We're going to hold a silent auction for the EESF. And should be good. I'm looking forward to it. It's a great location at the Grand Geneva, 7036. It is not too late to get some QEI credits. Just show up. Bring your checkbook or your credit card, all that good stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing many of you there, many friends and family at the show. Okay, news article: Oracle relocates to Tampa. The owner of Oracle, I should say, has relocated their headquarters to Tampa. Not a huge story. Next one is I didn't want to link the actual title of this because I don't want to give it any more credit than it's already received. But DNA Info in New York has an article: busted escalator WTC Oculus causes riders lifelong injuries. And I guess, you could find an attorney to basically sue for whatever reason. It's one of these deals where this paragraph gets me. The suit claims the escalator wouldn't have malfunctioned if the Port Authority had inspected and maintained it beforehand. Okay, so since when do we have a crystal ball that can tell us, before it breaks down we have to fix it? So anyway, be interesting to see if there's any video footage on this to see exactly what happened. But remember, the attorney's going to get a third, or no, probably 2/3. Okay, he's going to get a lot. And I just hate all this shit. Excuse me, sorry, I didn't mean to swear, but it just drives me crazy. And next article, this is why we need escalator safety. This is going to show a video from, I don't know, some website in Saudi Arabia. And it shows a little child, basically holding on the handrail, going up the escalator on the outside of it, and then somebody recognizing that they're going to get knocked off and running up and pulling them over. This is why, A, you don't let your kids play at a mall or anywhere, basically, when they're that age, or around moving machinery. I don't know however many disclaimers I can throw out there, but this is the reason why you don't do this. Kids are curious. I was a very curious kid, got into all sorts of mischief. But that's why. That's why we need escalator safety. That's why we need to make sure that elevators, escalators are safe to the riding public. Next news article, Fox 5, 3-year-old girl's fingers partially severed in an escalator accident. Salt Lake City. Ouch. This happened at a grocery store. Sources said it's unclear to what led up to the accident, but the reality is that somehow a 3-year-old got her fingers caught in the steps. Yeah, so Sorensen also urged your parents to pay attention to warning signs on escalators. Sure, yeah, probably a good idea. But these articles, it would be nice to have more information shared regarding the EESF. And I'm not sure why media doesn't do this or not. I just don't know. It's not difficult to share the safety messages when there's some type of accident like this happen. I don't know. Next news article, what the beep. This is graphic. I'm going to warn everybody because I can't watch it again. But this did not happen in the United States. Shows an elevator mechanic. I don't know. He doesn't look like he's dressed like one. But the reality is that he is stuck and he is lucky to be alive. Unbelievable. Another article from China or Hong Kong. Apparently, company and workers face prosecution over Hong Kong escalator accident. Yep. Look at the art. Look at the photo here. They've got these guys in black bags on their heads. I'm assuming to conceal their identity. But you know what? Do you think people would work a little bit safer, a little bit better if they knew that whatever actions they took relating to your job could land you in jail? Do you think people would take a little bit more time, a little bit more effort to ensure the job they did was like top notch? I mean, in China, this is coming from the South China Morning Post, when that whole milk taintment thing came out like a while ago, I don't know what year that was, quite a while ago, probably like 5 years. When that thing came out, they found who was responsible for the milk being tainted, people died, and then put that person to death. Found him guilty, put him to death. I don't know. I don't want to live in a country like that. But I just wonder, because workers are protected, basically. They're not, unless it's, they're pretty much protected. By workers' comp, by all sorts of policies and whatnot. I don't know. Just one of the crazy things. Okay, Business Insider, Tech Insider has an article about the Steve Jobs Theater at Apple, and they have a video of the elevator. Anybody know who made this thing? This is pretty cool. It's a rotating elevator that goes up and down, obviously, but it's a pretty neat system, and I'd love to give props to whoever designed it. What's even What's even cooler? Okay, so this is a video I'm playing on the website. It's twisting, and then as it twists over, it actually stops and rotates. I don't know what the necessity of it spinning needed to be, but I guess when you're Apple and you have more money than anybody, it's not a bad thing to do. But there are people who actually want to ride it, waiting to do it. So it's pretty slick. I mean, there was a round elevator at the Apple store in New York, glass one that got lots of press because they were having some issues with it, but still kind of neat. Here's another fatality in New York. This was a construction worker, I don't believe an elevator mechanic, but still terrible. I mean, again, we're talking about safety here. Safety is key, and if we got to make sure we're doing everything we can. And unfortunately, in New York, they've had more accidents there than many other parts of the country. But apparently, a construction worker was killed, another injured when they fell from an external elevator shaft at the building on the west side Thursday afternoon. They were workers employed by EJ Electric. They fell 35 feet. They apparently had according to reports, and I could be misspoken on this, but according to reports, their safety harnesses were actually on. They just weren't hooked into anything. So I don't know if they were working on the elevator or what they were doing, but it's scary. I mean, New York, you gotta take the steps to license mechanics and make sure everybody who's working on them knows what they're doing. Not to say these guys did not, but it's just kind of scary. And last news article of today's show, I actually, with permission, linked up Bob Shepard's his letter in the latest progress of the NASA International newsletter, which is spot on. The reality is that we are, we're all somewhat complacent in what we do each and every day, and the reality is that we all can help. We can all make a difference. Bob has been the champion in the Elevator Safety Summit, in really doing whatever needs to be done, trying things to ensure that people are safe. And he's got a great 12-step for safety and life program regarding anxiety. I swear I work with people and we follow this 100%. I've got guys that get so stressed out about jobs and something going wrong. And I literally walk up to him and I say, Jim, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I know you got external issues going on. Your job is not something that you truly need to worry about in the sense that you're going to make a mistake and get hurt. Take a deep breath, go take a break, come back. It's all going to be okay because at the end of the day, we're just making elevator parts. So, you got to put all that in perspective because at the end of the day, we all want to go home to friends and family. We do. And so make sure that is your priority every time you get up. Great article, Bob, and thank you for allowing me to republish it because you're right. With the number of accidents that have occurred, we truly want to ensure that we're doing everything we can to minimize accidents from happening. That's so important, so important. So keep going. And that's all I can say on that. And as much as you might feel alone in the champion in what you're trying to accomplish, and you're not alone. You're not alone. And that's my message to everybody out there who can make a difference when you get up, when you talk to your mechanics, when you're working with your helper, when your helper's working with you. Should be is common and thought about as getting a cup of coffee in the morning. That's about it. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for the show, everybody. It's time to give away a $100 Visa gift card. And if you're ever looking for a way to do a random number, if you go to random.org, not to give them any press or whatnot, but that's the number where you put the minimum and the maximum, and our list is growing. So you can become 1,000. Okay, 13987. Okay, so I'm going to go back. All right, the winner, 13987. Okay, winner of this week's prize pack giveaway is Eddie. Eddie is a mechanic in Florida. Eddie, thanks for listening to the program. I'll be sending you an email shortly to verify your address so I can get your goodies to you. As always, think safety, be safe. And those of you headed to the Wisconsin Elevator Symposium, looking forward to seeing you. Please stop by. And if you want to find out what's going on with the ESF, ask me about it. I'll tell you all about it. So, all right, everybody, thanks again for tuning in today. It's been my pleasure. Have a great rest of the week and a great weekend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.